Good evening. I am Tanya Kotys Abreu, and I am very, very happy to be with you again on another podcast, another edition of IQMK Global Vision. And tonight we are going to explore a topic that is very near and dear to me every single day, which is viewing our personal health as really our relationship to the natural world. It is thundering and lightning here, so I am hoping that everything is coming through okay and that you can hear me. And if you can hear me, I would just love for you to put a I can hear you in the comments because I'm running things a little different tonight. I'm using two screens and trying to get fancy on you, but I want to make sure that you can hear me. If you can't, please put up a. There's a lot of people joining, so I'm hoping you can hear me. So anyhow, as I was saying, it's a very, very stormy and lightning and thundering night, and as you will soon see in my presentation, this is a really healthy time when the planet is awash with this electric energy and this negative ionic activity. It's really good for everything, but it my birds are in. So I do have parrots. So thank you for telling me you can hear me. Thank you, Greg. Good to see you, Pam. I have parrots and they're inside tonight because of the rain. So if you hear them, know that they're a part of my natural world. And sometimes a kitty will walk across the keyboard or a dog will bark or a child will scream. That's all my world. That's all the way I stay healthy. I do have a menagerie, and that menagerie is the way I balance the stress of my human business and my human relationships with nature. Um, Somebody asked me what a dream is that I have, and it'd be a couple acres, some cheap land help, and some chickens back in my life. I had to, when I sold my last house, I had to leave my chickens behind and a few other things that remind me always to stay in harmony with nature. Tonight, I'm really loving this topic tonight, and I hope you do too. It's based on years and years of research, but probably more important than the years and years of research is the years of personal experience that have said to me over and over again, although I have been 30 some years in allopathic medicine, in traditional healthcare, running hospitals, helping with business development, I didn't probably had about 300 hospital and physician practice clients in my tenure, and it still comes down to this: living in the flow of nature. And so tonight's topic, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Tonight's topic is the science and nature of health. And I want to share with you the three channels of nature that I have discovered really since my battle with third/fourth stage cancer. Um, they have become a real part of my medicine cabinet. And more importantly, as I become more and more an influencer of people around me with major to minor issues, and they kind of asked me to be um, I don't want to say consultant, but a healthcare advocate for them as they go through these issues. I find that as they get introduced more and more to to natural resources, that their illnesses tend to abate, tend to go away. So I'd like to get started. And I'd like to start by thanking Mike Ascari and IQMK Global for really making a difference in my life so easy. Before I discovered this little thing up in the side of the screen there, natural muscadine grape supplement, I was probably taking, I don't know, 15 pills a day, trying to cover all my bases of antioxidants and everything else. And you know, when I was at my worst health wise, because I was at my worst health wise, coming right into the end of the pandemic and so much loss and so much grief and so much stress, it was really a bad time when I discovered a few weeks before surgery chronic sciatica, chronic pain, the power of a single supplement to provide over 150 polyphenols that function as anti-inflammatories, that function as antioxidants, that protect my body's cells, the building blocks of my health, as well as just enhances the overall blood flow. I've learned so much by continuing to delve deeper and deeper into the research on the muscadine grape, and I'll be sharing some of that with you this evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm going to jump into the presentation, and I will, of course, be looking at my other screen for questions or comments. And if anybody wants to jump in, just put their email up on the screen and I can invite you in a flash. So thank you for being here. And let's please get started. The very first thing I want to say is study nature, love nature, stay close to nature, and flourish naturally. This is kind of a mantra that I've developed since I've been a warrior through cancer and multiple sclerosis and slipped discs of the spine and very uncontrolled type 2 diabetes. To sit here tonight and say I'm uh, I'm feeling better than I have since I was in my 30s. So, how did I do this and how do I recommend others do it? Study nature, love the natural world, stay close to nature, and flourish naturally. Sadly, so many of us just sit with our phones, sit in front of Netflix, walk. Oh my God, the silver sneakers. They walk in a mall, just as distant as we can from the most powerful healing essence that there is on the planet for humanity, which is nature. Science that we all respect and say, is that scientific? Science, by its very definition, is the study of natural phenomenon. And I'm going to read that again. Science, by its very definition, is the study of natural phenomenon. Medical science should therefore first be the study of nature as healer. You know, since the Industrial Revolution, since the post Victorian age, where we've given preeminence to technology, we've given preeminence to synthetic drugs, preeminence to everything artificial from microwaves over open flames to chemicals over naturally occurring substances. We need to take a step back and look like billions of people on our planet do. Look at nature as the first and primary healer. And I want to start with the earth. The earth is the great ionizer. My gosh, you watch television and you can see all these infomercials for ionic water and ionic air and ionic hair treatments and hair growth treatments. But look, guys, it's as simple as this. I'm trying to break this down simply tonight. An ion is a particle, like an atom, that has lost or gained electrons. Because electrons are negative and protons are positive, Differing amounts create a charge, and that charge is the essence of life. Oppositely charged ions attract just like a magnet and form bonds. These bonds, these ionic atomic bonds produce peptides, amino acids, which create proteins. And proteins are the building blocks of all life and, of course, human existence. Now, I know that was a lot of chemistry and biology stuffed into a slide, so I'm sorry, guys. But it's really important just to understand that ions make the spark, that make life, that make you. It's interesting to really understand this. We are so bonded ionically with nature that chlorophyll closely resembles our red blood cells. Now, I want you to hear this again because this I learned when I was facing cancer. Chlorophyll closely resembles our red blood cells. Hemoglobin is the pigment that gives our blood its red color, as well as its oxygen carrying capacity. The hemoglobin of the red blood cell and the chlorophyll of the plant are virtually identical in molecular structure, with the only difference being the center atom. So, indeed, my friends, there is one atomic little difference, molecular difference between ourselves and the plant world. The difference between green chlorophyll and red hemoglobin. When I had cancer, one of my, and this was a regular oncologist, did really suggest juicing, right? And a part of that juicing was to be as green as possible. And wheatgrass was highly recommended. Why? Because wheatgrass is almost pure chlorophyll. And that purpose of me talking about this is really to get you to understand deeply that we are ionically bonded to the nature around us. We are not superior, we are just different. And what plants need to thrive is the same things we need to thrive: good negative ions in the air, good clean water, great amounts of oxygen. It's really kind of cool to look at that as simply as we and a tree are virtually the same forces of life. I want to talk about another natural bond that we have with plants. Everyone has heard now of stem cells, how miraculous they are, that at any age we can rejuvenate not just our skin, but actually our brain cells. Neuroplasticity increases with stem cell activation, pain disappears, vibrancy comes back. And of course, I am excited to talk about this firsthand. But I will tell you that plant stem cells are the undifferentiated cells found in the meristems of vegetation. Like human stem cells, they have the ability to self renew and replace specific plant cells in need of repair. For example, if you break off a plant stem, it grows back within a few weeks thanks to stem cells. And we are learning that if you get rid of negative cells in our body and activate positive cells in our body with stem cells, new health is found. Stem cells, the future of cancer therapy. But what's important for the sake of this discussion tonight is that stem cells exist equally in our bodies as they do in nature. As a matter of fact, you can find a lot of skincare products out there that say with living plant cells, stem cells, etc. They work on our skin. There are similarities, but of course, there's nothing more powerful than your own stem cells for rejuvenating your body, your hair, your skin, your brain, your blood at any age. Now, how Do we really, as people and plants, really get those stem cells, really get all that ionic activity? It's from the earth, guys. This is so powerful. The earth itself, where we were all created, no matter what creation science you believe in, it's the source of all magnetic energies for health and well being. Get close to it. Practice grounding on the regular. Now, what does that mean? My God, very few, although these days there's a lot of unhappy children. But in my days, we were outside barefoot, getting bit by bugs, running around in the grass, enjoying the feeling of being close to the earth. Now, more and more, kids rarely see the earth on their feet, rarely get to ground themselves and take that a step up to us. Rarely, as adults, do we take off our shoes and go stand on the dirt. We do that on the beach and we say, wow, going to the beach feels fantastic. But there's a very real scientific reason. Please take a look at the right of my screen. Grounding. What happens when we connect our skin with the surface of the earth? When you lay on the ground, when you stand on the ground, it is amazing how fast the electrons of your body just go speed racing. This is actually a video that you can see on YouTube, but it's amazing. As soon as you stand skin to earth, there's a surge of ionic, electric, molecular activity in your body. And if you look here, the before at the top of the screen, you'll see all kinds of this is thermographics, clogged areas of the body, of the spine. And this is within moments of standing on the earth. You begin to see that red dissipate, become blue. Blue is the healthier, open space. Likewise, in the head below, this cut off a little bit, but before the sinuses are all congested, it's really not a very fluid, healthy environment. But then afterwards, you see it on the left. What science is really finding, here's a male, 42 years old, went out, grounded for 20 minutes. 2 hours afterward, all of his red blood cells became much more active, began to flow, were more oxygenated. And that, as you know, is the key to heart health. And heart health is the primary concern that everyone should have. You know, unfortunately, we can live years with a dead brain. You've heard stories of that. But you could only live minutes with a dead heart. So, really doing things to increase the oxygenation of your blood is incredibly important. People, plants, and the earth's power to heal. Many of you, once again, we're still on the ions, have heard about negative ions. They are really important so that all the positive ions don't clump and cloud our health and everything, but they're abundant in nature. Where we can experience negative ions are the waterfalls, ocean surf, at the beach, in mountains and forests. Negative ions are scientifically proven to neutralize free radicals, and they revitalize cell metabolism. They bring you energy. So, guys, that whole thing about going to the beach at sunrise or going to the beach at sunset and it just changing your entire mood and invigorating you, or back when we had tuberculosis, that's where people healed. It's absolutely scientific. It's absolutely based on what happens when ionized air enters our body. Now, I talked about ions and ionization and that electric magnetic stuff that happens just when we're close to nature. But I also want to talk about the other natural channel, and that is light. Exposure to natural light helps our bodies produce, and we all know how short we are on this, Vitamin D. It improves our circulation, our circadian rhythms, and sleep patterns, helps us to focus, enables us to get more done, and it's scientifically proven natural light makes us happier. Ensuring we get enough of this vital resource is key to our physical and psychological well being. Over half of Americans are either on or have tried an antidepressant. And there's so much study to say here's natural light, sometimes in a lamp format, sometimes just making sure you go out 2 to 3 times a day and make sure your retina has natural light. And it's equal, if not better, on the natural light side to reverse or resolve depression. Guys, it's not rocket science. We were not born to sit inside fluorescent lighting. We were not born to sit inside the house to stare at computer screens and TV screens. We were born to connect with light, to connect with nature. And in that connection, we find our very best health and longevity. I've discovered recently, and it's been an amazing experience. Yes, there's sunlight, but there's a type of light that's present in sunlight, but obscured during the bright part of the day. But during sunrise and sunset, it's there in abundance. And it's called far light, it's called infrared light, and it's being harnessed and has been for decades around the world as an inexpensive and an effective healer against almost every major painful condition that faces us. Infrared therapy has many roles in the human body. These include detoxification, pain relief, reduction of muscle tension, relaxation, improved circulation, weight loss, skin purification, lowered side effects of diabetes, boosting of the immune system, and the lowering of blood pressure. Now, until recently, only other countries, not just Asian countries, but Germany and England and all kinds of places have been using infrared light in hospital to control infections, to reduce lengths of stay. It's inexpensive. It saves billions of dollars to use this type of light to help us heal. The US, of course, in the times of economic duress that we're in, is beginning to say, wow, this stuff works on wounds. This stuff works on chronic conditions that we really did not know how to deal with. And we were just pumping, thousands and thousands of dollars into every patient. Actually, a company that I've worked with is now beginning to sell red light mattresses to reduce bed sores in hospitals and to reduce length of stay and readmissions. Really, really important. Additionally, red light therapy has been used for years in the spa industry because it kind of acts on the power plant in your body cells called the mitochondria. And so, with more energy, other cells can do their work more efficiently, such as repairing your skin, boosting new cell growth, and enhancing skin rejuvenation. More specifically, certain cells absorb light wavelengths and are stimulated to work. Remember, just like a plant in kind of infuses the sunlight in order to produce all the beautiful pigmentation of leaves and flowers, we need the same type of various lights, both regular sunlight as well as far light and infrared. I have been using infrared and I have no makeup on my face. It's got rid of very serious discoloration and it also helps keep colds at bay. It nips sore throats all around me, kids, adults. They're all really, really, really sick. But the lights actually penetrate through the throat, penetrate into the sinuses to kind of radiate. Don't be afraid of that word, radiate away the viruses and the bacteria. Very important. Light, another natural phenomenon. And so I come to the last segment. and that is plants. Plants promise health, energy, and remarkable longevity. Again, plants promise health, energy, and remarkable longevity. You can't find this in a pill. You can't cure things outside of what the body needs to nourish every single cell. On the back of this slide, you'll see that I have our mighty muscadine, the miracle fruit, the fruit that has 5 times more resveratrol than regular vine grapes. We all know that resveratrol is the miracle cardiovascular drug. I've talked to some family practice physicians who think that resveratrol is like a pharma drug because it's used so frequently by cardiologists, but it's a plant-based supplement. And we know that with plants, everything changes. Science that can really get into the molecular and cellular structure of the human body and plants is showing more and more that plants prevent cancer and other chronic diseases. It improves the health of your gut and colon. It protects the cardiovascular system. It strengthens our cells for aging, anti-aging benefits. Of course, it contributes to longevity and it helps the environment better than, eating meat. I eat fish and sometimes I eat eggs. I don't eat red meat, but I really crave protein sometimes. But I do know that when I eat an essentially plant-based diet full of wonderful nuts and beans and um, veggies and fruits, I just feel calmer and more energetic and, dare I say, younger and sexier and all the things that I want to continue to feel well into my 80s. So listen to science and use plants primarily as your food. Now, unfortunately, a lot of our food is tainted because it's growing in earth that's not extremely healthy. But we can take very good premium supplements like Must Natural, and there are others. There are great turmeric supplements and ginger supplements and things I could go into for a whole nother presentation. But taking premium plant-based supplementation is sometimes superior than trying to just eat it. So we can, think about that because it's important to get the nutrition, but it's really hard to find the right nutritious plants in our grocery stores. So I love this slide because ions, and I put slash peptides, light that we talked about, and plant antioxidant is their primary. If we go back and say, what's the primary function of the ion? It's to create peptides. Peptides create protein. Protein creates the muscles, creates us, right? Plants create antioxidants. They create cells, keep our cells healthy. So we've got the muscles, we've got the cells, and we've got the light that keeps it all together for health and longevity. There's just 2 things I want you to remember. Ions, peptides, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. Protein is the foundation of life and is responsible for the mechanical performance of the human body. Plant antioxidants are the building blocks of healthy cells and protect us from chronic disease like cancer, diabetes, weakened immunity, and premature aging. This is all you need to remember. Get your ions, get out there on the earth, get out there, supplement with peptides, take care of your body's structure, eat plant-based, go after the most antioxidant rich foods that you can, and dance well into your 90s and beyond. So I wanted to put this kind of last slide up there for us because it's everything that I believe in and everything that I would tell everyone I love and care for, well and not well at the moment, to do to give yourself a chance at life again, not just surviving cancer or dealing with chronic disease, but really, really living, feeling happy, feeling energized in the morning, wanting to actually use your body in ways that is fun, to go ride a bike, to go gallop along the beach, skip, whatever it is. That is health. And that's health at 60, and that's health at 80. And it's so possible. Eat fresh. Eat fresh. Don't, buy grapes in jam. Eat the grapes, right? Don't, think that, succotash in your frozen section is better for you than, going to the farmer's market, chopping everything up, putting some fresh garlic in there, and really enjoying it. Color is so important. The oranges and the reds and the yellows. Eat colorfully. Limit animal proteins. I know people that just adore a steak once in a while, but eat a steak every day and die young. I mean, I'm sorry. That's what all the research shows, and that's what all my own personal history shows. Limit your animal proteins. Use it as a luxurious dietary treat. Stand barefoot on the earth if you can every single day. Even if it's just going out on your lunch hour, throwing off your shoes and standing at a little little plot of land. I am really allergic to red ants. Really allergic, like NICU anaphylactic shock allergic. But I do it every single day these days, and it's really changed, especially if I feel overwhelmed by an issue or a problem. It's the easiest thing to do to go and stand, make sure there's no little red ant mounds, and just stand and breathe. Next, just walk outside daily. Walk outside. Everyone has a park within, if not walking distance, driving distance. Everyone has a copse of trees nearby, even in, concrete jungles of New York. Please walk in nature, breathe that air. If you can get to a beach or get to a stream or get to the woods, do that at least once or twice a week. That's where that ionization clears your lungs, oxidates your blood. Drink clean water. Get natural light and use light therapeutically. I mean, all of you have seen the people up in Sweden and other places. They have to stand around lights during the darkness where it's dark 24/7 pretty much, in order to be happy, in order to be healthy. We sometimes need the same here because we're not outside. We're indoors. And in many parts of our country, there's very few days of real sunlight. So look up infrared light. Get a SAD light, seasonal affective disorder, full light brightness. Look into infrared saunas near you. My Planet Fitness actually has an infrared full body. It shakes you up. If you don't want the shaking, you just stand there and absorb the infrared. So think about that and eat foods rich in antioxidants to protect cells, function at your best, and live longer. You don't have to do tons of research. You don't have to have cupboards full of supplements. If you do all these things above and take one or two or three supplements that really seem to do it for you, I cannot live without muscadine. I can't. If I stop it for 3 or 4 days, I have relatively acute knee pain. If I take it at 4 to 6 capsules a day, I forget that I have osteoarthritis in my knees. Likewise, it keeps me energized. The things I'm currently relying on for myself, which have been an amazing kind of 6 months of experimenting. Now, I've been with muscadine for 2 years, and that has changed everything. But I've added a couple of things. I've added NAD which is a nitrous oxide that increases cellular communication, increases oxidation, increases neuroplasticity, and that's called NAD. And I've also begun taking, not taking, it's a phototherapeutic patch that goes on my body. And it is amazing. It increases naturally and scientifically, it's a patented thing, your copper peptides in your body. So remember when I said you need to have the antioxidants and you need to have the peptide activation of stem cells? I've kind of worked out a nice balance there. And I do use infrared since Dr. Alba Rodriguez, when I was in my most pain, gifted me a lamp. And that lamp I was originally just using on my back, but now it's on my face, my knees, my hands, wherever that heat wants to be, and where my body seems to need a little bit of care. So, my dear friends, I really am so grateful that so many of you have stayed around. And um, I would love, I'm actually going to put my phone number up, so that if you would like to, you can message me, of course, on any of the social media platforms that this is, but you can also just text me or call me. That's my number. I'd love to share any of the science, everything I say. I'm not a doctor. I've worked very closely with doctors and nurses, and I've run hospitals and healthcare promotional campaigns and done healthcare advocacy and consumer engagement and speaking. But I don't say anything unless I can throw a book of research at you. So everything I talked about in this presentation, from ionization to grounding to light and light therapy to plant-based nutrition and antioxidants like muscadine, I have that research and I would love to share it with you and your family. I thank you. I see some comments coming in, and I will certainly get back to you in questions. But this will be available on the IQMK Global YouTube, and it will be available kind of evergreen on the social media platform that you're watching. And of course, if you want a copy of it, please just message me, and I can send you just a copy of the presentation for your own use. I really appreciate your attention. I wish you amazing health, vitality, youthfulness, sexiness, compassion, love, all the things that define health. May that be your birthright, and may it just be present in abundance. Thank you. Have a good night.